A great way to identify other divers in the water during a night dive is by using some kind of coloured flashy or strobe, but because many of them sink, what's the best way to attach it to yourself so that it doesn't get obscured by the rest of your dive equipment by dangling in some kind of a crevice? Hi, all of you awesome scuba divers out there, welcome to the Scuba Diver Magazine channel, and welcome to Ask Mark, our scuba diving Q&A, where I, Mark, a former dive instructor, do my best to answer your scuba diving questions. If you do have any diving questions, then pop them down in the comment section underneath this video. Remember to use this Ask Mark hashtag to get it featured in up and coming video. But yeah, today I'm answering a question from Martin K, all about how to attach a flashlight so that your buddy can actually see it. So Martin K72 says, how do I attach a flashing light to my twin or single cylinder so that my buddy can see and find me even in poor visibility or at night? The typical lanyard on these things always lets the light fall downwards and obscure it. So the main problem here is that a lot of like flashies or strobes, they're not quite strobes, but they flash like strobes. You get these like indicator flashing lights, so it's not continuously on. They come in various different colors, and yeah, they're quite good for identifying things, whether that be other divers or like locations. If you have one attached onto like your exit ladder or whatever it is, then you can find it that much more easily in darker conditions. But because a lot of them are negatively buoyant and they sink, if you just attach it to your tank valve, then it's just going to like sit down there or like down here, and whoever's on this side of you is never going to see it. So you want it to like be obvious in a horizontal trim position. Now there are two ways of going about doing that. You either make it float so that it floats above you, which does make it a bit more of a flappy snag hazard, but as long as the lanyard isn't too long, then it's reducing your chances of getting entangled in something. Or you sort of secure it in place so that it's always in one particular spot that's most visible. So if we're securing it in one spot, my mind as a scuba diver immediately goes to zip ties and like rubber bands. So we use what I've affectionately learned are called Ranger bands, which it used to be just sections of inner tubings of tires that a diver would just cut sections off. Now they make custom ones, but it's basically just a chunky rubber band, basically. And they come in various different sizes. We use it for various reasons, from keeping our webbing from flapping around to, yeah, just securing gear. So these are quite handy, and because they come in a variety of sizes, then yeah, they're you can find something that suits you. My mind first goes to like your cam bands and wrapping one of them around, and then if you pop that in place, obviously use your lanyard again to secure it, just in case that range band fails. You don't want to lose your flashy, and that way it's prominent. It can be seen from both sides. You can get quite creative with these kind of things, whether you're using zip ties or whatever it is. But that way it's secure. It's always in that like upwards position, and as long as the other diver is pretty much behind you, they should be able to see it. Alternatively, you could do that anyway, but that's kind of where that sort of sticks in my mind. If you've got twin sets, then you can probably attach it to the manifold. That way, again, it's sort of in the center, it's behind your shoulders, and it's just secure in place. And yeah, depending on how you rig up those cable ties or Ranger bands, then yeah, you can have it wherever you want. That's where my mind immediately goes. You can, and you're seeing it quite common in divers nowadays, where you can have them float. They'll attach little floats to their tank valve, and it's not necessarily just for night dives for flashies, but for just identifying divers. You see it fairly often on dive guides, where they'll have some kind of like bath toy, basically like a rubber duck or something that floats, something that can deal with the pressure, and it just kind of dangles above them whilst they're diving, and it just helps to identify them from behind. And yeah, you could attach something like that, or maybe even a cork. I'm in two minds about corks because I imagine they get crushed at pressure or at depth even. Not really depth and pressure. So you probably could use a cork, just drill a hole through it and thread that onto the lanyard. That would want to float, and it would float your flashy, or some kind of, yeah, like a kid's bath toy or something that floats but can also deal with the pressure, and that way it can float above you. It is going to drift around, and there are chances of it dangling downwards and getting caught up in something, because when you're out of the water, of course, it's not going to float up in the air. It's only once you actually hit the water. So if it does naturally kind of sink down when you're out, and then you jump in the water, but it gets tangled up in your regulators or something, it's not going to be as effective. So yeah, my mind first goes to securing it somewhere in place. It kind of depends on the design of your strobe, of your flashy, whatever you call it. Some of them are quite compact and don't have an attachment point. However, struggling with this nut. However, if you do want to secure it in place, even if it is with a zip tie, you can just kind of zip tie it in place. And even if it dangles a bit, it's not going to dangle too far. It kind of depends where you put it. So you just want to put it like as straight down your back as possible, and that should kind of hold it in a fairly decent position. So if that was something I was going to be doing, that would be my plan. Zip ties, ranger bands, and yeah, some kind of extra security measure. I'd still use the lanyard, but I'd attach the lanyard to like a different section of the cam band, and then rubber band it in place, or zip tie, whatever it is. So that way it's in place. If that does get like, because these do break over time. This one you might be able to see is getting a bit thready. And yeah, they do fail. Even if it does, it's still attached to your cylinder. You're not going to lose it and need to replace it. But yeah, my recommendation would probably be to try and attach it somehow, whether that be on your cam band, on the valve itself. The valve, I suppose if they're behind you, it gets a bit obscured by the cylinder, which is why my first mind is kind of up here on the cylinder. But yeah, you can get all sorts of different bands and things to attach it. Yeah, or you could put it right on the tail, just get an extra like metal clamp band, and yeah, have that as an extra attachment point down at the tail. It is really up to you. But yeah, I always want to fix it in place, as opposed to it like dangling around just in case. Yeah, you see it quite frequently. It's becoming much more popular to have some kind of like personalized touch, to have these little things. I think there was a mask, I think it only really came out in the Asian market, where you could attach, was it a mask? It was something, and like on the bottom of your phone, you can attach little dangly things, and yeah, they tried that. I don't know how popular that was, but you do see these little personalized things that divers kind of put around their cylinder valve, and they float up above them. It's like a rubber duck or some kind of squidgy toy, something that floats, and yeah, from behind you can identify them a bit more easily. Yeah, it doesn't work at night unless, yeah, you've got a flashy, but yeah, these are always a good idea. Or just chemical glow sticks. They're okay. They're not the most ecologically friendly alternatives out there. You can get all sorts of different coloured flashies nowadays. You can get some that are water activated as well, which are pretty cool. They tend to be like single use though, I've noticed. They tend to have the battery like glued in place, and once the battery runs out, you just bin it, or something like this where you can put a new battery in and just reuse it until you break it, basically. But yeah, it is a good idea to identify yourself. in the water, and yeah, you can attach it to, if you're leaving gear in certain spots and you need to go back to find it, it's quite handy. They come in different colors. You can get some really powerful ones, like emergency strobes, which you can see from a long way away. And yeah, that way, if you need to find your way back, you know it's roughly in that area, but you're not entirely sure, you've forgotten your compass or whatever it is, then yeah, the strobe can help guide people back to one particular spot. Or if it's yourself, I wouldn't have one of those powerful emergency strobes because that's annoying for your buddy. But yeah, something less powerful is quite a good idea. An interesting question, and if you found it useful, give this video a thumbs up, and if you know anybody who might find it useful, just share this video, let them know. Remember to like, share, subscribe, do all of that good social media stuff. If you've got any questions yourself, pop them down in the comment section and use this @AskMark hashtag. Remember to head over to our website divernet.com. Thank you for watching, everybody, and of course, safe diving.